This is how most women experience love, and this is how most men experience love. At first glance, it looks confusing, but once you understand what's happening inside the brain and body, everything suddenly makes sense. What hormones quietly reveal is this: women often emotionally bond during intimacy, while men start bonding before it, during desire itself. This difference isn't random, it's not social conditioning, it's evolutionary design, and it all exists for one reason: human survival. Why love exists at all? Unlike most species, human babies are helpless for years. They need protection, food, emotional stability, and time. So, nature created a system that encourages two adults to stay together. Love isn't magic, it's biology trying to keep parents close long enough for a child to survive. This idea aligns perfectly with researcher Helen Fisher, who explains that romantic love unfolds in distinct stages, not all at once. Let's break them down. Stage first: lust. Lust is pure biology. It's the spark, not the bond. In men, lust is driven mainly by testosterone. In women, it's more connected to estrogen. But here's the key difference most people miss. Men run on a daily hormonal cycle. Testosterone rises during sleep and peaks shortly after waking up. That's why men feel desire almost every day, especially in the morning. Women run on a monthly hormonal cycle. Estrogen peaks right before ovulation, the most fertile window. That's when desire tends to increase the most. This doesn't mean women don't feel desire outside that window. It means the intensity fluctuates. Men are consistent, women are selective. And that selectivity has deep roots. Why women are more selective? Data from large dating platforms consistently shows one pattern. Women rate most men as below average, while men rate most women as average or above. Why? Because the sex that invests more in reproduction becomes more selective. Historically, women faced higher risks: pregnancy, illness, abandonment, social consequences. Selection wasn't cruelty, it was survival. So the real question becomes, how do you increase attraction if selectivity is high? How lust is triggered? First, scent. Smell is the most powerful sense of attraction. Unlike sight or sound, scent bypasses rational filters and goes straight to the brain's emotional center. That's why fragrance works, but only when used correctly. Apply it lightly to pulse points. It should only be noticeable when someone is close. This creates a subconscious reward loop. Closeness equals pleasure. Second, facial signals. Studies on facial hair show something interesting. Extremes are less attractive. Clean shaven can signal youth. Full beards can signal aggression. The most consistently attractive, moderate stubble, strong enough to signal masculinity, soft enough to feel safe. Third, overall appearance. Posture, grooming, skin, and body shape matter more than people admit. Even color matters. Across cultures, red clothing is associated with dominance and desirability. That's stage 1. But lust alone doesn't sustain love. Stage 2: attraction. Attraction is where actions matter more than looks. Research shows men and women want different expressions of love. Men tend to crave physical touch, women tend to value time and emotional presence. But here is the twist: what people want and what they give are often different. Men often give action and protection. Women often give attention and emotional investment. On average, women think about their partner more frequently than men do. But more time together doesn't automatically mean a better relationship. The rule that predicts relationship success. Relationship researcher John Gottman discovered something powerful. Stable relationships maintain 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction. Why such a high ratio? Because the human brain has negativity bias. Negative moments imprint deeper than positive ones. So, how do you create positive interactions that actually stick? 3 high bonding mechanisms. First, shared reality. Couples who develop inside jokes, private references, or a unique way of communicating bond faster. It creates an us versus the world feeling. Second, unpredictable rewards. The brain releases more dopamine when rewards are uncertain. That's why surprise works. Small unpredictability keeps emotional engagement alive. Third, humor. Women are consistently more attracted to men who make them laugh. Laughter signals intelligence, confidence, and safety. That's attraction. But love doesn't stop there. Third stage, attachment. Attachment is where bonding becomes emotional dependence. Most people develop one of several attachment patterns based on early relationships. But biology often overrides psychology. One common dynamic is the pursue withdraw cycle. When one partner pulls away, the others moves closer. The more one withdraws, the more the other pursues. Over time, one becomes avoidant, the other becomes anxious. Women are statistically more prone to anxious attachment. Why? Because historically, a withdrawing partner often meant loss of protection or resources. So, anxiety became a survival signal. Why love often ends around the same time? Researchers noticed something strange. Many long term relationships end around the same time period, roughly 4 years. Why does that matter? Because around that age, a child becomes more independent. The biological need for two bonded caregivers decreases, which leads to a rarely discussed idea. Love has a hidden final phase. Stage 4, disconnection. This isn't failure, it's biology completing its original mission. But humans aren't slaves to evolution anymore. Science allows us to override instincts with awareness, skill, and intentional behavior. And that's the real secret. Love can be temporary by default or durable by design. It depends on what you understand and what you choose to do next.